Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Madhvacarya, I go brahmā. Glorious to this Hare Krishna, good morning everyone. Today is the Disappearance Day, Madhvacarya, is that correct? Correct? Correct or not correct?
Yes.
And tomorrow Ramanujacharya. Quite a busy week. We have a Vaiticharya, we have Bhishma, we have Vasant Panchami, and Kundalini, and Raghunath, and everyone else a few days ago as well. And tomorrow on Vaiticharya, the next day Kalashi, next day Gurana, next day Nityananda. Every day a festival. Big feast, every day, right? Big feast? Huh? No? Today, big feast? Maybe, no, maybe. And tomorrow, and Kalashi means big feast. We used to have biggest feast on Kalashi. Every Kalashi was, everyone would look forward to a Kalashi, best prasada of the month on Kalashi. First class, the Kalashi feast. And then Prabhupada said, we were told, Prabhupada said, it's hard for them to follow this Vrata Kalashi, no brains. So at least they should have a feast compensated. That was our philosophy anyway. Okay, so today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 2, chapter 1. I guess we'll just say a couple of words about Madhvacarya before we start. I'm not really prepared for this, so try to say a few words. I didn't bring the songbook. Do we have a songbook here? Oh, no, it's okay. There's 1 or 2 lines. If there is one, you can bring it. Vaishnava songbook. I hope it's findable. I hope it's in here, because all of them are about this song. It's down to one, it's some vocal, but I will have a clue where to find it. Well, the normal one, the BBT Prince, this is not a BBT Prince. It might be in here. Yeah, it's in here, 120. Ready for singing a sing-song? You haven't got the book, have you? You haven't got the song. No, song sheet. We'll just sing 2 verses. You may have on your mobile, it's called Sri Guru Parampara. Songs of Vaishnava-charya, Sri Guru Parampara. This is compiled by Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati goes from Prabhupada. Oh yeah, for sure. There's none on the male side here. I guess the brahmacharis, they can memorize it just by hearing it once. No problem. Not brahmacharis do that, not do that. They hear once, And the Guru knocks it up and memorizes it for their life. What do you think? Under Hari? You can do that?
Try my right.
You're going to try, okay. Oh, no, the books are coming. Kali Yuga. You want to remember it. One of the symptoms of Kali Yuga, we don't remember things very well. The Prabhupada said, what I remember means to remember to write it down. Write it down. This is really interesting, the first two verses. Actually, my voice is a bit low today. Lack of sleep. Krishna Hoite Catur-mukha. Krishna Hoite Catur-mukha. Krishna, I've done it 100 times in a row, I can't think this morning. Krishna Hoite Catur-mukha. Okay, I hope you know. Hare Krishna a-sevonmukha brahmā Hoite nāradera Krishna Hoite Catur-mukha. Madhvacarya ya-tīrtha Hare In the beginning of creation, four-headed brahmā received the science of devotional service from the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Brahma taught this divine science to Devarshi Nārada. And Nārada imparted it to Krishna, Dvaipayana Vyāsa. Sripad Madhvacarya, who is also known as Purna-tīrtha, calls himself a servant of Vyāsa and is the guru of sole refuge of Padmanabha-tīrtha. The two other principal disciples of Madhva, Hari-tīrtha and Madhva-tīrtha. Madhva-tīrtha accepted the great Paramahamsa, Shobhya-tīrtha, as a disciple. The principal disciple of Shobhya-tīrtha was known as jaya-tīrtha, serving whom was Jnana-Sindhu's only purpose of life. So, basically this song is a song of the glorious acharyas in their disciplic succession, and how one to the next, passed imparted shiksha to the next, imparted Vyāsa-dāsa, shiksha given, passed on the knowledge. Disciplic succession is the passing on of the knowledge. Not just the formality, but really the essential part of the transference of the knowledge down the line of disciplic succession to present day, Sangha, association of the devotees. So Madhvacārya, Purna-tīrtha, as he was known when he was younger, was one of the significant great acharyas in their disciplic succession. Their line of succession is, amongst acharyas, he's considered to be the kind of acharya of their line, the Madhva Sampradaya. He stems back to Brahma, the four Sampradayas, within the one coming from Brahmā, Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya because Lord Chaitanya, in line, took initiation, in that line from īśwara-purīke, Madhva-purīke and so on. They were in the line from Madhvacārya. Lord Chaitanya accepted that line, although they say their form of worship is somewhat reverential, or īśwara-bhāv. Lord Chaitanya was preaching the Guru-bhāv, and gave much deeper bhakti with some other aspects which each gave bhakti. Oneness is not so much understood in the Madhva Sampradaya in its transcendental sense. They consider that impersonal brahmā. Chaitanya's explanation, his delivery of this oneness with the Lord is oneness in loving exchange. It's not just reverential service. Any fine points. But basically the Madhva-sampradaya, which believes that Krishna is God, that we're all God and the living entities are eternally distinct, and the living entities' ultimate role is service to God. We can learn how to serve God through the Vedas and different premises are there which are all not different than the premises of Gaudiya Vaishnava. It's just the Gaudiya Vaishnava has more spectrum in understanding of the absolute truth. But what they do believe is correct, the path of attaining. Of course, many times now they emphasize perhaps rituals and social structures as primary, and worship mainly in Vaikuntha mood. Not wrong, but it's not as complete. So Madhvacarya had his role to play to specifically defeat Mayavad philosophy, which was rampant at the time he appeared in the world. Not clear when he appeared. Some biographies describe he appeared in around about 11 or something like that. Others describe he appeared at 12, 24, things like that, 12, 27. But it is generally understood that he lived for around 80 years at least. Spent at least 80 years on the planet. He was born in a village near Udupi, in Karnataka, in South India. And out from childhood he was an extraordinary child. Power, not just spiritual power, physical power, also, mystical power also. He's not an ordinary jiva by any means. And he appeared for this mission, most important mission, to defeat Mayavad and establish Vaishnavism, even if it's not complete in all of its aspects. He established Vaishnavism as the constitutional reality of a living entity. And his physical strength, many times he displayed physical strength or mystic powers when he was very young. His father apparently had some large debts which were causing great disturbance. Madhvacarya took a tamarind seed, transformed it into many jewels to pay the debts. He easily, when he was a little child, he fought with a deadly snake. It was actually a demon and killed it. Whenever his mother, even if he was a long distance away, if ever his mother thought of him or needed him, he would immediately appear on the scene. He could jump miles and miles, he could just jump. Well, that's not surprising because when he left the world, demigods, just like yesterday when Vishnu left the world, all the heavenly planets, they all got news quicker than text messages, quicker than Facebook, quicker than internet. They all heard quickly that he's passing away. And all the demigods assembled to hear, and then they showered flowers on him. Similarly with Madhvacarya, the demigods showered flowers on him when he left his body. His body was spiritual, but still that pastime of healing takes place. Not only that, but they started glorifying him. Oh great Acharya, oh great devotee, oh who is none other than Vayu, the demigod of the wind. Oh great devotee, who is no different than Bhima saying, oh great devotee, no different than Hanuman. He was, all these 4 personalities we see here are from the same basic opulence of the Lord, although manifest in different forms. The basic same opulence of the Lord is manifest. great strength, ability to fly, great strength, etc. So he had tremendous strength. There was one proud fellow who was said to be like the strongest, I can't remember his name. So Madhvacarya tested his strength, and he just put his big toe on the floor and said, "Pick up my big toe." He couldn't budge it an inch. Couldn't budge it an inch. He was very strong, very strong. He would fight with tigers. Yes, he fought with tigers also. No problem. He fought us, and then he was very brave. Very brave. And somehow he was attacked with dacoits when he was on his way to Madhvacarya to meet vyāsa-dāsa. He fought with bands of dacoits and killed them all. He didn't beat around the bush. He was a very athletic personality also, so he participated purposely in wrestling and swimming and various other sports. Very strong, very strong. When he was young, not so young, he was living in a Gopi. He'd already become a greatly well-renowned devotee, causing great concern to the Sringeri Mata, especially, which is not so far away. They tried to challenge him in various ways, but nothing. He was never defeated. He defeated them in debates. That was his mission, to set the way for Lord Chaitanya's appearance and bringing back into, into the public awareness Vaishnavism, introducing Vaishnavism. And like that, when he was, one day he was on the beach, and he saw in the distance there was one boat, a big boat, which was coming from Dwarka. Somehow it was in difficulty, rocks or sand dunes or something. Some problem was there. They didn't know, they were lost. They were in very, very difficulty. So Madhvacarya, knowing what he knows so many things, but he was able to guide the boat to safety. Various signs and so on. He guided the boat to safety. So the captain of the ship, he wanted to give something as a gift to Madhvacarya, so he, something useful. So he had a very large, enormous chunk of gopikan, tilak, on the boat. So he wanted to give this to Madhvacarya. So as he was giving this, there were different stories actually. As he was giving a chunk of tilak, the chunk cracked in half. Huge chunk. And as I say, there are different stories, and you'll read different stories. In this case, when the chunk cracked in half, suddenly there was a deity Parampara in the middle of the chunk. Madhvacarya then arranged the installation of that deity Balaram there on a temple on the beach side. So then he carried it, very heavy, I think 30 men could carry it. Madhvacarya carried the chunk back to the Dupi. And there he immersed the chunk in the temple tank. And sure enough, out of that chunk, the deity of Krsna appeared, covered by the tilak. And this is Udupi Krsna. Udupi Krsna, if you've been to Udupi, you may have seen. So that deity then was installed there in Udupi and worshipped by Madhvacarya, and then of course by his disciples, and he established several mats, and his disciples were the monks in each of the mats around India. He traveled around India preaching. And he took shiksha from Madhvacarya, up from vyāsa-dāsa in the Bhagavad. He took Siksha there. And he compiled various scriptures, commentaries, various Upanishads and so on. But when he left his body, he just finished ottama-jati Upanishad. And then he left the world. But he left a legacy, which we just heard, many eligible, qualified disciples. And non different mentioned in Vayu, Bhima, and Hanuman. Śrī Madhvacarya ki jaya. Go Prima.
Hari Hari Go.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Today we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the first step in God realization, chapter number 1, text number 6, canto 2. It's a very, another very wonderful verse, especially famous for its conclusion. Etavam Sankhya Yogabhyam Svadharma Parinishthaya Janma Lava Para Pumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi. Very famous line, Ante Narayana Smritihi. One of the most famous lines in Bhagavatam. Etavam Sankhya Yogabhyam Svadharma Parinishthaya Janmalava Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi. Etavam Sankhya Yogabhyam Svadharma Parinishthaya Janmalava Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi. Etavam Sankhya Yogabhyam Svadharma Parinishthaya Janmalava Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi.
Etavam Sankhya Yogabhyam Svadharma Parinishthaya Janmalava Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi. Ladies.
Etavam Sankhya
Yogabhyam
Svadharma Parinishthaya
Janmalava Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi. Etavam Sankhya Yogabhyam Svadharma Parinishthaya Janmalava Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi.
Etavam, all these. Sankhya, complete knowledge. of matter and spirit. Yogavyam, knowledge of mystic power. Swadharma, particular occupational duty. Parinishthaya, by full perception. Janma, birth. Lavaha, gain. Paraha, supreme. Pūrn, of a person. Ante, at the end. Narayan, the personality of Godhead. Smriti, remembrance. Translation and purport by Srila Nārada, the highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duties, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Highest perfection of human life. Translate purport. Narayan is the transcendental personality of Godhead beyond the material creation. Narayana Bhogya Thakura, Narayana Bhogya. He's above this manifestation, transcendental, from bells ringing. A lecture, a conversation Prabhupada was having with some group of Mayavadis, basically, talking about that the spiritual world, Prabhupada was explaining the spiritual world has form. One of them was saying that sometimes I have these dreams and I hear bells. They were saying this is spiritual experience. And I see like bells ringing and water, oceans. Prabhupada would say this is proof that there is variety of form in the spiritual world. See? You're hearing bells. Everything that is created, sustained, and at the end annihilated is within the compass of the Mahatattva, material principle, unformed potential energy. The energy is there, there's not in form, shape, Mahatattva. It's all contained there. Lord Brahma and others have the role of taking the energies and making, just like we do sometimes. We take earth, bits and pieces, and make a house. Put form to the energy is already seen. It's on the platform, Mahatattva on the subtle platform. And beyond and above that is the pradhana, which is being efficient. The grade is beyond the actual breakdown, we could say, of the subtle energy, potential energy, in various forms in the Mahatattva. Pradhana is one energy. The existence of Narayan, or the personality of Godhead, is not within the jurisdiction of this Mahatattva. Oh, look, Lord Vara's appeared on the page there. Lord Vara's appearance day soon. And as such, the name, form, attributes, etc. of Narayan are beyond the jurisdiction of the material world. Hard for people within the material world to grasp this understanding that when the Lord appears in this world, that He's beyond it. And His name, when it's being chanted, is also beyond this material world. He has form, hard for people to imagine. Interesting, this is related to Madhvacarya in some ways. That God has a form, because most people only have an understanding of material form. So as soon as you mention form, they have a hard time conceiving receiving a spiritual form, there's no realization, no understanding of what to do. Again, we don't discuss too much of these details of God in public at least. By the speculation of empiric philosophy, which discerns matter from spirit, or by cultivation of mystic powers, which ultimately helps the performer to reach any planet of the universe or beyond the universe, or by discharge of religious duties, one can achieve the highest perfection provided one is able to reach the stage of Narayana Smriti, or constant remembrance of the personality of God. Basically, that's the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. There's the Parampara Sutra of the Gita, is the ottama-jati. The key verse, the essential verse of Gita, you could say, which is the whole objective of the book, or the teaching, is to always think of Krishna, offer homage and obeisance unto him, worship Krishna. In this way you will come to me, being always absorbed in him. This is the by Vishnu the key verse, or the supreme objective verse of the Bhagavad Gita. The result of devotional service is to come to this point. The result of surrender is the one. They say the process of surrender involves hearing, chanting, remembering. But when it comes to that fullness, always remember Krishna. All the rules and regulations that we follow are meant for this principle, to always remember Krishna and never forget him. It's a principle. Always remember Krishna, never forget him. If we always remember him, we're not forgetting him. If we never forget him, remember him. Two opposites of you. And that's what this verse today is aiming at. We always remember we can't expect an honorary degree, but sometimes a person receives an honorary degree without taking the course. To think, at the time of death, I will remember Krishna. I will not bother doing anything now. But when death comes, I will then remember him. Yes. In this way I'll be liberated. Well, it's not so easy to remember Krishna at the time of death. It's not within our control to decide what we remember. Out of control. Only if we've taken shelter of Krishna and Krishna himself takes control, can we really have that good fortune to remember him at the time of death. We will pray and please may I not forget you at the time of death, because I'm giving prayers for that. Because without his mercy we can't remember him. Even if we practice in this lifetime. The recommendation, of course, is to practice in this lifetime. So we're preparing ourselves for death at every moment. It's not we have to wait for the moment which may come unexpectedly also. We should be preparing ourselves at every moment. Death will have to leave his body behind. And Prabhupada goes on. This is possible only by the association of a pure devotee who can give a finishing touch to the transcendental activities of all jnanas, yogis, or karmis in terms of prescribed duties defined in the scriptures. There are many historical incidences of the achievement of spiritual perfection, such as that of Sanakadi rishis or the 9 celebrated yogendras who attain perfection only after being situated in the devotional service of the Lord. None of the devotees of the Lord ever deviated from the path of devotional service by taking to other methods as adopted by the jnanas or yogas. The purpose of dhyan, the purpose of yoga, the purpose of everything is to remember Krishna. It's not some purpose in of itself. It's a useless waste of time. The first canto is Srama Evahi Kevalam. All the activities we perform do not evoke an attraction to the personality of Godhead. They're a waste of time. Whatever they are, they're a waste of time. Material activities or some kind of spiritual pursuit, unless it awakens an attraction towards the remembrance of Krishna, they're a waste of time. Examples are given. There are persons who practice remembering Krishna. And there are many examples here. I think maybe one of the next verse is the example of King Caturmukha mentioned at the time of death. He remembered Krishna, but that was by mercy. He begged for the boon because he was body and remembered Krishna. So I think there was perhaps more expanded and relevant example. In the case of the Jamio, who somehow or another had good fortune. It's interesting, Prabhupada mentions here, by association this achieved this remembrance of Krishna and the association of devotees, various in the association of devotees, this attraction develops in hearing about Krishna. So Jamio, when he was a young boy, he was a devotee, pious person, and he followed his father's lifestyle. So he performed devotional service. Unknowingly, maybe you could say, well, immaturely, he performed nonetheless. And as you know, the story goes that the young man became overwhelmed by lust, attracted to a prostitute, that she married her, had many children. Even in old age, he was having kids. I don't know how old she was. He was having kids. So when death came, because he lived a really sinful life, practically the most sinful life, all regulated principles broken, and many other sins he performed. So when the time of death came, the Yamadutas came, because he was a very great sinner. Very sinner. But when he saw the Yamadutas, he was very attached to his youngest son named Narayan. He called out, Narayan, Narayan, help, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. And the Yamadutas closed in on him. And when the Vishnu-dutas heard the name of the Lord mentioned, called, they immediately appeared, stopped. Don't step in his foot. You can't touch this man. What are you doing? The Yamadutas was surprised. They'd never seen these guys before. Where are you from? Where are you coming from? Aliens. Come from Nova or where? Yamadutas were shown. Anyway, it's a long story, 6 canto of Bhagavatam. Because he chanted Narayan, and when he chanted Narayan, somehow or another, by the mercy of Krishna, because he did service never in vain, service doesn't go in vain. So when he chanted Narayan, even though he was thinking of his son, it evoked a remembrance of Narayan. The child who worshipped, started worshipping Narayan. So anyway, they debated. Vishnu-dutas won and sent the Yamadutas back home, back to the Yamaraj. So, and it was they inquired from Yamaraj this, that, the other. And because he chanted, just chanted the name of Narayan, but that wasn't the end of it. He was then allowed to stay in his body, but he didn't go back to Godhead there and then. They told him to practice devotional service and fall down again. So the deity left wherever he was, and went somewhere near a temple, and he went to hardware, not too far away, and in hardware he performed various austerities, devotional practices, and became fixed in pure devotional service. And then he went to so they gave him that chance. They liberated him from going to hell. And then the Īśwara had become Pāpam, the non-Krsna. One has to be free of all sinful reactions, acting piously in this life as well as the last, free of duality, to engage properly in devotional service with determination. So he was given that chance, and he took it, and he did engage in devotional service with determination, and then when the time to leave the body came, to remember Krishna. As the goal of life, to remember Krishna. All the purposes of the Vedas are for that reason, to remember Krishna at the time of death. Underlying principle of the Vedic literature, maybe not manifested, but it's the point behind it all. Prabhupada goes on. There are many historical incidences in the Veda. None of the devotees of the Lord ever deviated from the path of devotional service by taking to other methods. As adopted by the Jnana yogis, everyone is anxious to achieve the highest perfection of this particular activity, and is indicated herein that such perfection is Narayana-smriti, for which everyone must endeavor his best. In other words, life should be molded in such a manner that one is able to progressively remember the personality of God in every step of life. Molded. Though similarly we're being molded to a certain extent with regulated principles, lifestyle, sleeping, everything, it is molded in such a way as to facilitate this Narayana-smriti, anti-Narayana-smriti, not just anti at the end, but now. Remember Krishna now, we don't know when the end comes anyway. Take it for granted, it's not going to be now, but it will be now sometime. And it could happen any moment. No one's infallible in this world. No one's fallible. We have to take shelter of the infallible, Supreme Personality of Godhead, to Krishna. Take shelter of the infallible. Otherwise, we'll be taking shelter of someone else which is fallible. It lasts a long time, it's still fallible. Or able to fall. Fallible is able to fall. And that's the answer given here by Shukdev Goswami. What should we do at the time of death? Remember Krishna. Remember Krishna, that's the goal of yoga, the goal of meditation, is the goal of all of the Vedas, by all the Vedas that might be known, Vedanta Chaham, purpose of the Vedas, to know Krishna. And bring that knowledge of Krishna, also Krishna says deep knowledge. We get material knowledge, and spiritual knowledge, whatever knowledge is required according to one's desire, according to one's position. The Lord gives that particular knowledge, and we deserve it. He gives knowledge to remind us, He reminds us when we come to memory. Forgetfulness also comes from Krishna. He's reciprocating with us. Not playing a game, playing around with us like pawns. No. He's reciprocating with us. So when He gives us that memory, reminds us at the time of death. This is the mercy of Krishna. He reminds us at the time of death, if we're fortunate, will become fortunate, engage in devotional services, the path of good fortune. Fully engage yourself, mantra yoga, vicharana, bhakti yoga, and sevati, suguna, jaya-tīrtha, when engaging in full devotional service, he does not fall down under any circumstances. Once transcends the modes of material nature and comes to a spiritual platform. That platform, no more angry or lamenting in this world we're in. No more business in this world, business finished. Really you get liberation, you get eternal service to Krishna. Liberation from this material world. It's guaranteed by Krishna. Remembering at the time of death, you just practice. Number of life, we're practicing to die. I try to remember Krishna, chant his names, keep engaged. This is the practicing stage of remembering Krishna. Even service one time, Prabhupada, I can't remember if Bhagavad or somebody, Prabhupada, they were taking photographs of Prabhupada. And all the time busy taking photographs. He said, "Oh, I have no love for you." He said, "What do you have?" "I have my camera." "What are you doing with your camera?" "I'm taking pictures of you, Srila Prabhupada." Prabhupada said, "That's love for you." Practical service. Love is manifested through practical service, not just through sentiment. Through practical service. By rendering practical service, then Krishna is pleased. Thank you, etc. And his mercy is he reminds us of him. Bhagavad one time he said, "Our only prayer should be, my dear Lord Krishna, who is sitting in my heart as the super soul. Please always remind me to chant your holy names. Please do not put me in forgetfulness. I don't mind where you put me, but please don't put me in forgetfulness. Probably even if it's hell or heaven. As long as I can remember you, or remember to chant your holy names. That should be our only prayer. Please remind me to always chant your holy names." This would be then considered to be the perfection of human life. We always should have done Caturmukha. Just rid of it, always engaged in chanting the glorious names of the Lord. Definitely won't go back to Godhead. No more need to take breath. But there's a question of Parishamash. Answered very simply by Sukadeva Goswami. The goal at the end of our life is to remember Narayan. How do you remember? That's the Bhagavatam. We're here now. We've already heard in the first canto, but expanded in the remaining 10 cantos, how we can remember Krishna at the time of death. How to fix our minds. And even chanting japa. Sometimes people say, how should we chant? Sometimes Srila Prabhupada says, you chant the Maha Mantra as if this is your last breath. Last breath. And it might be a bit more serious. Maybe last breath, I better chant nicely. You can't take it for granted. When we're going to leave, we don't know. We should be not leave. Caturmukha said, he asked for the boon, how much longer I live. Then God said, you'll live another moment. Not the boon, he asked that to tell him how much longer you'll live. Fighting for it. And they said, you'll live for one more moment. And he transferred, his devotee transferred his consciousness to Krishna. We don't know, even if we do know when we're going to leave our body, we don't know whether we're going to be able to remember Krishna. We should practice now, depend on Krishna. At the time of death, by the mercy of Krishna, we will be able to remember him. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Questions? Questions? I'm sorry.
Thank for the wonderful class, man. Just on this point, you were talking about always remember, begging the Lord to always remember to chant the holy name. It's extremely difficult to remember because you always get engaged in something, some other service or some work or something. So, do you have any practical tips or techniques that we can?
Well, we probably gave them. We should pray. There's so many examples of Bhagavatam, or brahmā, purī-bara, mentioned the other day. They were very worried that they would forget Krishna in the course of their activities, their duties. And they were begging. In the case of purī-bara, the devotional Brahma assured him he wouldn't forget, he would remain on that spiritual awareness. And Lord Brahma himself was worried when in the course of the duty of creation he would become forgetful. There are examples of him forgetting actually, to give us warnings. So how to overcome that? Well, clearly mentioned on many occasions, Srila Prabhupada has written it several times. Jiva Goswami has discussed and described it. Along with our service, we should chant Hare Krishna. It was the kind of thing we did when I joined. It's not maybe the thing you do now. It was when we joined. You chanted as you clean, you chanted as you cook, you chanted as you serve, you chanted as you load, you chanted all as much as you could. You know, not that you disturb others, but you become sense. Chanting alongside that helps to keep us, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gīta, perform your duty at the same time, be conscious of me. Be always conscious of me in all that you do and all your works, everything. So chanting is the recommended method of doing it. Now, in the association with this helps us to keep this focus in the association of devotees. There are devotees and there are devotees. And there are various devotees. And we should try to associate with devotees who are a little more serious about Krishna consciousness, as much as we can without disrespecting them, not waste their time. And in that association it's easier to cultivate this remembrance of Krishna while we do our service. We should read regularly from Bhagavatam, the scriptures to remind us, to strengthen our intelligence, like we said, by reading. Our intelligence becomes stronger. It was interesting this morning, I may not ever get used to it, someone just gave me a Kindle, a new one, I got one, an old one, a new one. It keeps popping up every time I press anything. On the screen is some kind of page, Kindle page, and it's really annoying. But one thing on there that was interesting, it said, Sussex University in England has concluded by their research that 5 minutes of reading a book reduces your stress 50%. It didn't say anything about remembering Krishna. If you're too stressed out, it's pretty difficult to remember Krishna. Oh, maybe sometimes it's a good thing. You get so stressed, you just surrender. And sometimes we're so absorbed in our stress, and we want to think about getting rid of my stress. The stress is there, and whatever anxiety is meant to be an incentive for us to remember Krishna. So we hear from Bhagavatams regularly, the scriptures, and associate with devotees, and chant Hare Krishna, and pray and endeavor. And even Prabhupada said, as I mentioned earlier, the devotee was photographing. But if you're focused on your service, and the service is actually for the service of Krishna, but also in Krishna consciousness. One's thinking how to improve my service for Krishna, how to distribute more books for Krishna, how to dress the day nicer for Krishna. how to cook nicely for Krishna, how to manage nicely to please Krishna, and so on. How to speak nicely to Krishna. The motive should be there. It's for Krishna. Even if we don't literally remember him, we're focused on the service which is for his pleasure. It's also a station of security, a station of being a liberated platform, basically, and a position which will evoke Krishna's mercy. That he will remind us at the crucial time, moment of death, particularly. If we're sincere, we have to be sincere, not duplicitous. Doing one thing, saying one thing, doing another, thinking another, whatever it is. Be sincere. And Krishna is pleased, although we may not be very advanced. Children, Krishna will pick us up from this ocean. Once at the time of death, it's very hard, the voice is choked up, life here is all disarrayed, the mind is reeling, the fever is burning, very hard. The mind is just woo, desires going left and right. Very hard to focus, just witnessing chaos. Complete, the whole city of the body is being smashed to pieces. Maybe in the fourth canto, how that city is smashed at the time of death, the Caturmukha, the soldiers of vyāsa-dāsa, just devastated. Bhaktisiddhanta comes in and burns the body to shreds internally. It feels like it's burning. Pretty hard statement to practice depending upon Krishna. Taking risks for Krishna, you could say sometimes also. Keeping in Krishna conscious mood. Prabhupada said, pray. Hare Krishna. Anything else? I had an experience, I'll tell you, a little experience. I talked to the example the other day, and a question came up, similar kind of question. How will we remember Krishna at the time of death? So I told a little example I had a few years ago in France, going down the stairs in our chateau, you might call it marble stairs, spiral staircase. Going down there at midnight. We just got back from Sankirtan at 11 something. And the boys were with me. And they'd never been there before. We met them and brought them back after Sankirtan. And I was going down quickly down the stairs to organize something, either their accommodation or prasadam or something. And I don't know how many steps from the bottom I was. The spiral staircase, so naturally as it gets to the center, the stairs are narrower and narrower and narrower. Well, I missed a step. My right foot went off the step and twisted, flew over. And I flew, literally flew. The next thing I heard was bang. I had no idea what in between, it was so quick. It was like boom. Bang! My head hit the floor, smack on the marble floor. Quite going fast. I heard a crack. I thought my skull was cracked. But simultaneous to the crack, I heard another sound. Roaring out of my mouth loudly, Krishna! I thought I broke my skull internally, but the sound of Krishna roared. And for me, it was the crack of the skull. I was surrounded by the sound of Krishna. I didn't consciously, Krishna, now say Krishna. There was nothing like that. It just happened. Krishna. So I realized that I no longer thought of Krishna, but Krishna thought of me. Krishna reminds us. appears there. In this case, of course, there was only an accident. But Krishna appeared there. So he is there, protecting us. We should take it for granted. We should always humble, seeking his protection, be in a surrendered mood, always be depending on Krishna. Don't waste our time. Symptoms of surrender we should cultivate. Always depending on Krishna, expecting his mercy and so on. A good wake-up call, you could say. There were a few injuries involved, but that experience was quite some good one. To remember that Krishna doesn't forget us, even if we forget him. He's there. And if we're so pleased his pure devotee, Krishna is obligated. Prabhupada wants us to be delivered. Krishna is obligated to deliver us. He has to serve his pure devotee's will. Remain lotus feet of the pure devotee of the Lord. By his grace we can go back to God. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I think I'll finish there. You have to probably go to Sankirtan. Was Monday a day of rest for you?
Sunday.
Pardon?
Sunday.
Sunday what?
Sunday we take break and rest of the week.
You take Sunday rest, is it? Monday?
Monday we do Sunday.
Oh, good. Sankirtan, off you go. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All the best in the Sankirtan. Just a little note. I'm very sorry, I mean, it may not be the absolute law, but because I was involved, still am involved in Kirtan standards. Mangalarti, please try to keep the tune, the Mangalarti tune. Prabhupada said it should be the tune all the way through. Not really change it to a tune, or whatever it is. Stick to it. It's very sweet. Mangalarti should be sweet. I think everybody knows the tune to Samsara-dāsa. Hare Krishna should be the same tune. There's a slight derivative of that, which is questionable, but at least it's the same raga. But Prabhupada said this is the Mangalati tune. He wanted us to sing it throughout Mangalati. Rest of the day, that's another thing. But at least the Mangalati tune should be sung. Please Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.